No, I do not want to be a physical therapist because of... Does this sound like you? Maybe you are choosing to opt out of physical therapy and choose a different career path because of these specific reasons. And in this video, I'm going to be going over the two big and main and critical reasons why students choose to not go to physical therapy and choose something else, but really they're missing out on such a huge opportunity. What's up, you guys? My name is Dr. Live for a Change, Justin Lee, physical therapist. I'm a PT school admission expert and I help students get accepted into PT school. So the two main things why students choose not to choose physical therapy is because number one, this is a big one, is for the amount of salary that you make, for the amount of tuition or the cost of school that it takes, right? And number two, they are afraid of the monotony of work that comes as a physical therapist. So in this video, let me debunk a couple of those things or maybe share some facts and some myths about those things, and I'd love to share that with you right now. So the amount of salary that you're gonna make as a physical therapist versus the cost of tuition that it will take to become a physical therapist. Now, if I'm being frank and totally honest with you, if we're just looking at numbers, the amount of salary that you're gonna make, about average physical therapists make about $80,000 a year versus the amount of tuition that it costs for PT school, which is on the rise as well. It's about $110,000 plus all the other expenses that come with PT school. Now, of course, right, there are differentiations with both of those categories. Sure, like different clinical settings, you might make more. Maybe you can do a little bit extra on the side to make sure that your salary hits six figures, right? Maybe you have some specializations that can help you bump your salary up. But same thing goes with your tuition, right? You have public versus private programs, and then you can opt that out with or offset that with some scholarships. But on average, this is what we're talking about. 80,000 salary, 110,000 average about tuition for the cost of PT school. Now, if you're doing the math, you're like, holy cow, that's not worth it. You know, why would I choose a career that doesn't pay me that much, that costs that much? And that, honestly, that's a question that a lot of students are asking themselves right now. And if we're just looking at numbers, like I mentioned, maybe not worth it, right? It's not worth it to get paid that much or that little of a salary for that much of a tuition. But, and this is a big but, if you don't choose to do physical therapy as a career that is super fulfilling, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit, then what other career would you choose? Would you choose a career that makes you more money and you don't pay as much money for it, but that job that you're going to be doing 40 hours on per week, which is a big chunk of your time, and you hate that job? Is that worth it to you? Or is it more worth it to take a little less salary, pay a little bit more tuition, but wake up feeling fulfilled and feeling like you're actually making a difference in this world, right? Now, also, I do want to mention to you, and I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't mention this. On average, students in the PT program, and this study was taken several years ago as well, so it might be even longer now, take an average about 20 plus years to pay back their loans. Now, I see a lot of faults in this. And before you get all like, oh my gosh, 20 years to pay back student loans, I am for sure gonna be like those other students and choose a different career path. But let me just share this with you. Most students will be constantly paying the minimum requirement for the student loans. And as they're paying just minimum requirements, right, just minimum payback, the interest constantly accumulates. So as you're just doing the minimum per month, the interest is accumulating a lot faster. So now they're just like constantly building. And now at a certain point when they finally feel like, okay, I'm kind of settled in life. I have a house. I choose to put my money towards that. I choose to put my money towards getting a car, etc. And just putting the loans on the back burner, this is what accumulates. And I'm not no financial expert, but all I'm gonna say is the interest rate for student loans is pretty darn high, and I would definitely start to pay those off as a priority versus maybe get a house, car, get your Mercedes Benz or your BMW, and some other financial things. If you're smart about it, I've known friends who've paid back more than $150,000 of student loans in a matter of less than 5 years. And that's because they prioritized their finances towards knocking that giant down. So it's absolutely possible, but for most people, they don't do that. Anyway, this video is not about financial help or any kind of thing like that. It's really about what's happening, right? And why students are choosing to not be in physical therapy. And this is the main reason, is that, like I mentioned, just that the amount of salary that you're making for the tuition is a big no for them. And they have different priorities, and that's okay. But if you want a career where you feel like you're really changing the world, if you want a career where you wake up and you're excited to impact somebody's life for the rest of their life and give them actual tools, feel like you're actually helping out and giving them advice and education to alter the trajectory of their lives, so that maybe instead of going from, without any assistive device, meaning no walkers or cane or anything, and you slowly see them degress, right, to getting onto a cane and then a walker and then a wheelchair, you as a physical therapist can intervene in that moment to say, you know what, if you just change a couple lifestyle habits and do a couple exercises and stretches, we can change that degression to a progression and help you reclaim your independence so that you don't have to rely on other people for help, to wash you, to bathe you, to wipe your butt. You can see how impactful a physical therapist can be in someone's life like that. Or we hear this all the time, right? Oh, hey, I wish somebody had told me XYZ when I was injured, because now that I didn't do that, I am suffering the consequences. You as a physical therapist will be there to educate them, to tell them at that moment XYZ, so that they can avoid being in this unfortunate circumstance. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see the power of what physical therapy can do? And to be honest, physical limitations limit people's lives. Let me say that one more time. Physical limitations limit people's lives. If you are limited in walking, oh my gosh. Imagine the inconveniences that you have to go through to use a wheelchair or have someone else transport you everywhere, right? If you have a physical limitation with your shoulder and you cannot lift this arm up, and let's say this is your dominant arm, how limiting is it to do the everyday activities that you want to do and you can't? You can't reach up for that cabinet to grab that cup to quench your thirst. You cannot reach up towards your hair to do it so perfectly and glamorously so that you can go on your date. Okay, I'm being a little bit dramatic here, but y'all get the point, right? So that's gonna be the first and big point as to why people choose to not be a physical therapist. Okay, and the second big thing as to why students choose not to go to physical therapy is because physical therapy kind of got a bad name of the monotony of work, of going to work, doing the same thing over and over and over again. And this honestly breaks my heart, because there are still clinics out there, there are still work environments out there that are doing this. It's really the director, it's really the owner of the clinic that creates a space and an environment and a culture that makes it feel like you're working at what we call a PT mill. Meaning patients come in, you're just there as a worker just to do some work and put some output in, and then they leave. They come in, you do your work, and they leave. And it's this constant high volume of patients coming in over and over and over again that causes these physical therapists to burn out and leave a bitter taste to the physical therapy profession. And I want to call that out right now, because you, as a future physical therapist, who's gonna apply to different locations as a physical therapist, you have the power to choose. Do not settle for these what we call PT mills, right? And honestly, there are a lot out there because these PT mills will only deepen the pockets, the financial pockets of the owners, and they will pack your freaking schedule with patients and evaluations every single hour so that you're seeing 2 or 3 patients every single hour for the 8-hour day. That means you're seeing up to 16 to 24 different patients every day, 5 days a week. Of course you're gonna burn out if that's the case. There are a lot of places that don't have this model, and a lot of these clinics are emerging because they are seeing the value of having quality care versus quantity care. And if you're going to a place that just only cares about quantity, I guarantee you they don't care about you. Because when you quit, you think that they're gonna have so much trouble filling in your position. Just like that, they just have to post something on Indeed or some kind of website, and they're gonna have someone to replace you instantly. There's gonna be another new grad physical therapist who is eager and excited and ambitious to become a physical therapist to go into that position and get jaded by the system again. Man, I am preaching this morning. I am feeling something this morning. Taco, what do you think? Nah, he's not impressed. All right, so these are the 2 big reasons. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep it at that. The monotony of what the PT world is like, don't go to it. You have a choice. You have the ability to choose a clinic and shop around. Take some time. Don't feel like you have to get into something right away. Even if you have to commute maybe like up to 30 minutes to go to a different facility where you feel like you are valued, where you feel like you can produce quality care for patients, I would say check this out. This is a nugget. If you've been watching to this video till now, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Give this video a like. But here's a huge nugget for you. If you're a future physical about to apply to PT school, about to apply to a PT job, right? What I would look for and ask them is, how many minutes do physical therapists work with a patient? And how long are each sessions? And what you want is you want to make sure that you are working one-on-one with that one patient for at least 75% of the session. That means if their PT sessions are a full hour, that you should be spending at least 45 minutes to an hour with that patient. That means that you are not spending anything less than that and sending them off to an assistant or an aide for them to finish their sessions. You will absolutely not feel gratified with your sense of contributing to your workplace and also to these patients, and I guarantee you will burn out if you do anything less than that. So ask your future recruiter those questions, and make sure you are working one-on-one with your patients for the entire time. That's what I would choose to strive for. If you can't find that, look somewhere else until you find places where they offer that to you. Whew. Hey, if this video was helpful, I really appreciate in the comments some feedback as far as what was helpful to you. If you like this video, I appreciate it if you give it a like so the YouTube algorithm can boost this up. And if you have any questions, the best way to contact me is via email. So feel free to email me, liftforchange@gmail.com. Every day is a great day to lift weights, lift others, and lift yourself up. Lift for change. Have a great day.